Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to my Unit 1 Construction Design Project presentation. My name is Matt Kleins and the date is currently the 30th of July 2025. So the client brief and requirements for this project. We've got a very early stage brief, so what you would ordinarily expect would be slightly more in-depth. So we'd have to have more discussions with the client further down the line as to in terms of budget constraints, time constraints, things like that. But what we were given a layout and rough sizes for a 2-story, 2-bedroom house. So ground and first floor, 2 bedrooms as a requirement, master bedroom, smaller bedroom, comfortable living and dining area with a reasonable sized kitchen, 1 full bathroom and additional ground floor toilets. The design preference was quite vague, so you can have a modern or contemporary style, natural light ventilation. So for me, that sort of meant plenty of windows, big patio doors, that kind of thing. Efficient space utilisation. So a lot of houses these days have open plan areas such as a lounge dining area, which you'll see that's sort of what the design I've gone down for. Sustainable and energy efficient features. So you'll see I've shown options with solar panels, without solar panels, so they can get sort of an idea what they would look like. Materials, again, we were given just durable, low maintenance materials. Most houses these days are designed to just be low maintenance, so makes sense. Interior finishes to be comfortable and warm. So I've not gone into the colours too much, but ordinarily that would be like a nice grey, something that's quite simple in the kitchen. Whites, things like that, easy on the eye, plenty of room there for decorating. Kitchen and bathroom fittings, modern and functional, comes as standard really. And then additional notes of parking space for at least 1 vehicle, and consider the future adaptability of the building. So 3D rendering and an AI interpretation of what's been asked. So I've used an AI software in 2 senses here. I've used Autodesk Revit, so I've taken on board the requirements that have been given to me, done some basic plans and drawings, which you can see here. Hopefully you can see my cursor. So that is the picture on the bottom left. So that is a model pulled directly from Revit, 3D version. I've then used Prome AI software. I have taken this drawing, chucked it into it and just said, visualize it for me. And this is what is given above it. I've asked for solar panels on the roof. So this is the rear view of the house that was designed in Revit. And that's what the house will look like with a solar panelled roof. And then I actually just used the description of what the client had asked for. Uploaded no drawings whatsoever, just a description, and this was the AI house, sort of the 2-story, 2-bedroom house that was given to me from Prome. So AI uses in the modern age in terms of design is really helpful, because this means you can then go to the client. So this is a visualization of what you're sort of asking for. Are you happy with this? Are you not? What else? So AI can be really helpful this day. So the ground floor layout design. So again on Revit, I've taken on board what was asked from the client. So this will be the entranceway here, small cupboard, sort of probably where you have your boiler on the left hand side, downstairs toilet with a window, so natural lighting, hallway. So as you come down, then you've got the big open space living area, so that's dining room, living room, multifunctional room, really good size there, big opening patio doors, kitchen. So we were asked for a large kitchen, or a reasonable sized kitchen. So this is a reasonable sized kitchen. You can have it fully fitted. Again, big windows in the living area, windows at the bottom of the stairs. So plenty of natural light, which the client has asked for. Moving upstairs to the first floor. So we come up the stairs here into the central landing area. Directly opposite the landing, then we've got the bathrooms. That could be a combined bath and shower, useful for small families, couples. Natural light. Good window. On the right hand side of the landing, then you've got a big master bedroom. You have space here for fitted wardrobes or cubby space down here. Maybe mount a telly on the wall. Big window in the middle of the room. Smaller window on the side, so again plenty of natural cross light, good ventilation. On the opposite side of the landing, then a smaller bedroom. So if it's a couple in the house, maybe potentially an office space. So chopping and changing what they can use it for. Good sized bedroom for a child. Little storage shelf. Here it's like an airing cupboard style thing. Again, a couple of windows in it for cross ventilation and plenty of natural light. So we've covered all the requirements there from the client. Specifications and schedules for the client. So we can use Revit, the AI software, to pull directly schedules out of the program. So you see here on the left, this is the window schedule. Easy enough to do. Obviously Revit just uses sort of generic windows and doors. So when you've actually further down the line construction in terms of manufacturers and specifications in terms of what exactly the product will be, you can then pull full schedules off, which shows you the head heights, which floor they're on, all of your thermal resistance, which is obviously you need those calculations for design anyway, width and everything like that, so you can make sure that the client's happy with the amount of window space you're getting. Same for the doors. Again, these are generic doors from Revit, but it gives you an indication that you can just pull schedules off. So when they're fully into manufacture, this is what you need, this is the requirements, and you know what you're getting. Specifications. So Revit doesn't do that in terms of give you specific specifications, because obviously those are dictated by the client. At this stage, it would be going out to tender. So it would be sort of giving contractors and suppliers the chance to say this is what we recommend is best based on the specifications that you're wanting, and they would give you a more in-depth specification for their materials to be used in the house. So the CPP, the initial constraints that sort of myself as a main contractor that we look at. So again, with it being a very early brief, we're not giving too much. We're not giving any layouts of the land, any topos, any pass surveys. So all those would have to be undertaken. So initially, it just sort of be a basic. Here you go, Mr. Client. Here's how we're going to manage the works. What we're expecting as a main contractor. So for me, obviously, 0 incidents, 0 accidents. Everybody should strive for it. Not everybody can achieve it. I believe that I could. The management structure, so just if it was just for a singular house, one project manager or even just one senior site manager would probably be enough just to sort of liaise with the client, manage it that way. We don't want too many management members on site if it's only one small project. Obviously if it grows and becomes sort of more of a development, obviously then your members of staff will increase. Site rules, so that's your PPE requirements, digital management system, how we're going to have meetings, coordination meetings and stuff with the client, with contractors, with the suppliers. That's all sort of listed out. So these are just a couple of snippets from my CPP that I've drafted up for the client. Controlling significant risks. So again, traffic marshalling, vehicle movement on site. If it's a new build, so sort of brand new bit of land, nothing around, overhead power lines probably aren't an issue. If it's a bit of land that's already been developed, has development around it, so we've got to be careful of things like that. Preventing falls, it's a big one in construction, as we all know. It is the biggest killer of people in the construction industry. So I have a real firm approach in terms of managing safety at height, whether that's working on scaffolding, erecting scaffolding, working at height with tool tethering, things like that. And then general excavations and bits and pieces like that, how we'd manage that. So all of this would go to the client. So how have the requirements been met of what the clients asked of me with the brief that I was given? So the brief was very early stage, as I said at the start. However, I've managed to use that information with the internal dimensions of the kitchen, the size of the living space that's been required to generate a good size house, 2-story, 2-bedroom. It ticks all those boxes. I wasn't given an external footprint. So again, there's plenty of room for change. If the client wants a slightly bigger living area or he doesn't want a big open plan, he wants to have 2 separate rooms, obviously that can change. But with what we were given, I believe that ticks those boxes. And then I've used AI. It wasn't asked of me, but it's a powerful tool in modern construction to take the information I've put into Revit, give it to AI and say, please represent this in real life in terms of what it could look like in real life. It's off the paper, it looks like a house, so we can give that to the client. We can then use the description I gave and say, look, this is another alternative. This is one design from Revit, this is another potential what it could look like. You can then use it to look at your internals, show me a nice sized bathroom with built-in shower bath, things like that. So AI is an exceptional tool in the modern age. Obviously you can get confused. You will have seen with the pictures, obviously I asked for it to have a fenced in background, it gave me a big hedgerow around, that's not realistic. That's not what the client asked for, it's just sort of representation. So AI does have its weaknesses. But I think it's also a very powerful tool, especially at early stage, to show clients actually this is what's on offer and this is what's achievable. Thank you for listening to my presentation. If you have any questions, let me know. I'll be sure to answer them to the best of my ability. But if not, I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.